All right, people. This is a production. We're going live in a few. Where's Gary? Then find the hat. I don't care. Just find it. Okay. Okay. I got the rankings right here. Does he have the copy? He's got the hat? Okay. Where to go? All right. We're going live soon. Okay, camera. All right. 3, 2. Ayahuasca comes in number 1. Someone try to stop me.
You can't go and put your team top 3 every fucking time you win a game.
Number 1, your number 1 power rank motherfucking team, and this motherfucking day is Gary the Chemist. We fucking coming. We coming. Cooper motherfucking Cup, baby. He's back.
What the hawk is cooking?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, week 2. Gary the Chemist coming at you. Manager of the Ayahuasca Chemists. Your commissioner. The greatest around. We got the podcast going today. We got a lot to go through. Power rankings, couple of shakeups. And then we got to do a little bit of week recap. And we got to hit the waiver wire, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, let's go.
Week recap.
Okay, week recap. To your right. We're getting new at this, okay? You got all the score settings and the skullfuck tiers. As you can tell, no one's reached a skullfuck this week. So why don't we start off at the very top? Okay. Your boy, Ayahuasca Chemist, the high scorer of the week. And when we talked about the draft, we always talked about, people coming after me. Oh, you taking quarterback right away? Because it's motherfucking Josh Allen. Okay. One of the worst weeks historically for quarterbacks in week 1. And my boy, Josh Allen, put up 32. Otherwise, I'm going to try to keep things relatively quick here. Kyron Williams, not the best game, but he, ran a lot of routes. It's completely fine. It's the Lions defense, one of the most stout defenses in the league. David Montgomery, he's a stud. A.J. Brown, stud. Rashee Rice, what did I tell you? What did I tell you guys? A poor week out of Trey McBride, only 8 points. Again, we'll talk about a lot of these players and stuff like that when we do the power rankings, but I'm not concerned. I went up against Mr. Bye Week, Tom Zahari, who also kind of had a good quarterback of himself, Mr. Lamar Jackson. Pacheco looked real quick out there. CD, he started off so hot, and I know I trashed him for taking Mike Evans. He looks good. Chris Godwin looks good, but we'll see, It's hard to say. It's only week 1, and that Washington Redskins secondary is probably the worst in the league. Okay. Let's go on to the next matchup on your slate there. It's the Mighty Wombats going up against Stat Corrections. The Mighty Wombats, the guy that was second in my power rankings last week. I feel bad for him. Shanahan went and Shanahaned, which was very concerning. He went ahead and did, why? You look at all the reports. I almost got screwed out of this. McCaffrey, he's playing. He's out. Achilles tendonitis is very concerning going forward. Overall, a lot of good guys who did not play well. Again, the Kelsey, it is what it is. Tight ends had a terrible week. His high scorer was his quarterback, C.J. Stroud, and that was only 18 points. On the other side, you got Stat Corrections. He's got Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, man, that guy cannot throw a football, but it don't matter. 28 points for him. 16 for JJ. He's going to do his right there. K9 also looked very good out there. Next matchup, we got Slide Rid going up against Cheating Always Works. Slide Rid's highest performer was Aaron Jones, who looked real good. But, it's only a matter of time before he gets hurt. Okay. And, Dak had a subpar game, so it is what it is. He's had some disappointing stuff. Christian Kirk, man, he dropped 2 balls, 2 touchdowns. Okay. On the other side, Cheating Always Works Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's got a plethora of options, but man, it just feels like, I don't know. Maybe it's because he doesn't run, but I don't think he's going to be like a top tier guy like you're expecting here. Otherwise, his high scorer of the week, Joe Mixon. I mean, the most workhorse back in the NFL, what looks like in week one. He was all over the place. Stephon Diggs is going to be up and down. I mean, he really didn't do much. 6 catches, 30 yards. Now, 2 touchdowns end up working out, but you know what? You can't guarantee those. They got too many options out there. So, next matchup to discuss, the Cincinnati Lights, the previous number one ranked team on my power rankings, with an absolute dud of a performance. I'm surprised that Kyler Murray only ended up with 15. He looked good. And then, of course, Chris Olave, despite putting up 47 points, for one reason or another, the New Orleans Saints just refused to get him the ball. Nico's a stud, and again, a terrible week out of tight ends. His highest performer was Bijan? No, it was Nico Collins, Michigan man. Okay, and then cop off my hawk. I mean, Anthony Richardson, dear Lord. I went back and I watched a bunch of his throws. Man, that guy, that 60-yard flick, unreal. But man, I think he went under 50%. What do you have? 9 of 19. Yeah, he was just missing guys left and right. But, he ran the ball a lot. I think as a fantasy asset, he's going to be just fine. Travis Etienne, I think you should be scared. 12 points for him. I'll get to it later. 17 fake points from Rachaad White. Why do I say fake? Got a lot of his yardage off of one catch. And for the most part, I mean, he got outplayed by Bucky Irvin. 15 carries for 30 yards. Garrett Wilson started off hot. Looks like he was a favorite target. But, man, that is a anemic offense over in New York. And then Terry McLaurin. The same problems with Anthony Richardson are happening with Jaden Daniels, where, bro, they cannot throw. And I don't think they trust him to throw. So, with that said, his highest performance was definitely Anthony Richardson, followed up by Chris Godwin, who looked good, and then he had a great game out of his kicker, Aubrey. First kicker off the board. You can see why. Second to last here, the guy that I ranked 12th put up 147 points. The great Gatsby. Jordan Love getting hurt on the last game, but he had a great performance out of Saquon Barkley, who, oddly enough, didn't grade as well as the stats would show. Wait a minute. Nope, this is Go Pack Go. I was like, wait a minute, this don't make no sense. Okay, Go Pack Go. Jordan Love. He got hurt. Last play of the game. Again, with Go Pack Go, Can Early, No Pack No. One of the greatest, running back tandems in our fantasy football league, only to be followed up by some absolute duds at wide receiver. I'm not a big Xavier Worthy guy. I think he's going to be better for the Chiefs than he is for your fantasy football team. And then I was hoping that Zach Moss would get kind of have a better game, but it was a negative game script. Okay. That said, he's got Aaron Rodgers on his bench. Couldn't crack 10 points. That's who he's gonna have to go with. I think the Packers are lying. I think Jordan Love is hurt, like beyond he could play. No, he can't. No, he can't. Okay, go fuck yourselves. All right. On the other side of the matchup here, biting kneecaps. The kneecap collector himself, John Anderson. Joe Burrow, terrible game. I got no idea what happened with Cincinnati over there. It was just absolutely terrible. Okay. James Conner continues to look good, but man, what are you going to do at running back? You got to hope that Justice Hill, if you need the Ravens in a negative game script for him to really rack up points. But that said, Harbaugh already said they did not bring Derrick Henry here to get 30 carries. So we'll see. At wide receiver, oh man, plethora of talent here. Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. Drake London, I think he's going to be just fine. Laporta, again, terrible week out of tight ends. Devontae Smith, J-Mo, I mean, bruh. And then not only that, I believe he has, it's not showing me here, but he might have Hollywood Brown lying in the wake. So a plethora of wide receivers, but still struggling at tight end. Now we get on to the great Gatsby. Okay. He lost by over 40 points. Okay. With that said, it's 40 points. Okay. As you guys can see on the your upper right there, you're gonna need to lose by 50 to have a true skull fuck. But you know what? I'll give you a little. I'll give you a little something there.
Soft skull fuck.
All right, just a little soft one there. Okay. So, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry.
They are who we thought they were.
Told you in the first quarter. You got happy they scored a touchdown. Justice Hill's going to outscore him. Justice Hill outscored him. Like I said earlier, John Harbaugh already said it. They're not going to give this guy 30 carries. Once I get to the power rankings, I'll give you some stats on why he's cooked. But Ramondre Stevenson, I don't know how many game scripts they're going to get like that the rest of the year. I expect Jamar Chase to play better, Waddle to play better, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by Bowers. A solid performance. And then on the other side, the actual winner, the Dirty Burt. Okay. Jared Goff did not play well. He's got A-Chain, who is hurt, may not play tonight. Kamara in a game where they absolutely steamrolled. You can't play Carolina every week. So, you can't play Carolina every week. Amon-Ra will be fine, and Cooper Kupp. So your roster is just going to be like centered around Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Devon Etchin, who I think is going to end up getting hurt anyways. He only got 10 carries anyways, but of course those 7 catches are what really kind of like propelled him. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. Relying on guys like Jared Goff and Caleb Williams might end up biting you. Okay. Alrighty, so that was your week recap. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Am I forgetting somebody? No. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, I see what's going on. We ladies and gentlemen, we got a call. Is that it's the Cincinnati Lights, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
You know what, y'all? I'm celebrating tonight, baby. You know why? Because Bazzy's guys could not muster up a skull fuck, baby. Woo!
He was a guy who I had high expectations for. And looking at his score, I thought he was gonna have a soft skull fuck, so I was ready to put him on that soft skull fuck animation. But I just realized, he didn't lose by that many points. It was like a little under 30. But you know what? I'm gonna throw it at him anyways. This is a fake one, okay?
Soft skull fuck.
And going forward, I'll be much more diligent about when this is actually necessary. But either way, let's just get to the next part here. Okay, let's just go. All right, the waiver
wire.
Now, waiver wire this week. I think we all know what we're going to talk about, right? It's what happened at tight end. Isaiah Likely for Cop off my hawk. He got 0.1 points or something out of his tight end. I told him, you can't take a 0. Like, these games are decided by like a couple of points sometimes. So you can't have a guys who are absolutely duds. So he took Isaiah Likely. Now, I'm not concerned about Mark Andrews. He was in a car crash a couple of weeks ago. Everything will be just fine. Mark Andrews even ran more routes than Isaiah Likely. They paid Mark Andrews. He's still under the docket for a couple years. That said, Isaiah Likely looks good. I think that's going to be a great addition for him. Colby Parkinson. No tight end ran more routes this past week than Colby Parkinson. It was like 50 or something. It was something absolutely insane. And of course, they had to throw the ball more, but it felt like when it wasn't going to Cooper Kupp, it was going to Colby Parkinson. Okay. I see a Tank Bigsby right there. Tank Bigsby between tackles looks better than ETN. Okay. Now, that said, I don't even think he ran a route. I don't even know. Like, he was not really involved in the pass game. But I think how much standalone value Tank Bigsby have is debatable. Depends on what ends up happening, next couple of weeks, his usage. But I think it hurts ETN. I think, Bigsby looks better. We'll see. Bigsby may be the red zone back. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I can barely see some of the stuff that's going on over there. Wan'Dale Robinson was like top, 3, 4 in targets this past week? 12 targets. In a PPR league, I think that Daniel Jones is absolutely dog shit. And, yes, am I buying into an anemic offense? Yes. But this is a man, 12 targets. 12. Okay. And, anyone who watched him back in college knows that is a shifty boy. Otherwise, nothing else kind of like really sticks out here. I'm seeing, I'm not going to get excited about a Rams secondary wide receiver. We all have been around for long enough to know, like, you can't really guess what's going to happen with the Rams. So, that said, that was your waiver wire. On to the power rankings.
Power rankings.
All right, power rankings. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Okay. Now, before I start, I want to preface some changes. Nothing too crazy. My big thing when I look at week one is not necessarily production. Okay. It's more about what was the usage like? Because that's what we need to know. Okay. Heading into the year here, it's hard to really gauge what's going to end up happening. Okay. We got a we got a nice little sneak peek at how some of these offenses are going to run. And because of that, it really kind of gives us some insight on what we might be dealing with the rest of the year. Okay, so why don't we start off with number 12?
Number 12.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Great Gatsby.
They are who we thought they were.
I mean, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry. He was in on 18 pass plays, which might seem like a lot, and he ran 14 routes. Okay, 14. But had one target, and it was a screen. Okay, Justice Hill on 39 pass plays. Ran 28 routes. Fantasy-wise, outproduced them. Okay, John Harbaugh. Oh, I forgot to start the timer. Oopsies. There we go. We're going to try to keep things a little quick here. John Harbaugh said they're not going to give Derrick Henry the ball 30 times a game. This isn't Tennessee. Okay? This ain't some Tennessee offense that has guys like Will Levis at quarterback. Okay? And then, what's going to end up happening in the red zone? Is Lamar going to pull it? You got to rely on touchdowns, and I don't know how much of that stuff you're going to get. It's going to be, a little tough to say. Okay. That said, Brock Bowers was a very pleasant surprise. I really liked what I saw out of Brock Bowers. And based off the overall usage, I don't have the numbers here. By the way, all the numbers are provided to you by PFF. But when it comes to your team, I kind of touched on it earlier. I just think that when it comes to your depth, it's getting really scarce, man. Cameron Sutton, I'm just, there's a lot of stuff I'm concerned about. A lot of guys who what? You got Jeff Wilson, Madison. Oh, okay. All right. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to keep things quick. But again, number 12, the Great Gatsby. Okay. Next.
Number 11.
Number 11, Gideon. Cheating always works. Now, Gideon, he hasn't really changed much here. Despite having a solid performance in week one and really kind of what you were kind of expecting was the Joe Mixon workhorse and the John Taylor workhorse. I mean, it was evident. Okay. That said, this man, Rashid Shaheed, I don't know how much you can rely on him. Stephon Diggs. I think that there's too many guys there. I think that, I think he's probably won't be a top 2 targets, but still. Odunze, oh my God, Caleb Williams. God, he looked terrible. But I do like the Tony Pollard pick. You got nobody, man. And again, no Puka, big problem. Okay, big problem. I'm also not impressed with Evan Ingram. I know last year he caught a lot of balls, but already in the first week, playing inline 40% of the plays. He only did that 25% of the time last year. I think they got a lot more receiver depth this year, and that's why they're going to kind of put him more in line more. That could hurt his production. All right, next.
Number 10.
Number 10. Down 8 spots. I hate to do it to him. The mighty Wombats. And you guys all know what I'm about to say. Okay? Christian McCaffrey is a liar. All right? Kyle Shanahan is a liar. Do not trust them. Achilles tendonitis. Christian McCaffrey said he's 100% going to play on Monday. Did not play. Screwed me. Screwed Mike. And so I would be very, very concerned going forward. So then the question is, let's say you lose him. What is your team looking like when you lose a guy like him? I mean, Tajay Spears, Pollard's the guy over there. Okay. This is... Did it click on the right team? No. Okay, there we go. Christian McCaffrey. What Najee? I like what Najee did, but I think that the the kind of play calling is going to kind of shift a little bit once Warren gets a little healthy. That said, I do like what he's got going on. I like Ridley, but your bench is cooked. Oh, man, I'm already out. I'll go acapella. Chuba Hubbard, I wanted to just mention real quick. Chuba Hubbard, dear God, how do you get out carried by Miles Sanders? Miles Sanders, ladies and gentlemen. Chuba's cooked. You're cooked. I'm seeing a lot of problems going forward. Next. Number 9. Dirty Burt. Okay. Actually went up a spot. Okay. Now I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Look, he's coming off a good production here. His second highest this past week. But A-Chain, the usage of that backfield is insane. Okay. They're getting Jeff Wilson involved. All right. I'd be scared. A-Chain might not even play this week. We'll see what we can do. Again, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Cooper Kupp are going to lead the way for him. He's got Jordan Mason, who might be a nice little fill-in for the next couple of weeks. But you're going to rely on Jared Goff and Caleb Williams the rest of the year. You got to hope that Nick Chubb comes back a little quicker and TJ Hawkinson come back a little quicker, because I don't like what's going on here. I do not like it. Rashad Bateman's absolute, dude, look at these numbers. He's owned 14% of leagues. That should tell you all you need to know. Okay? 76% owned for, Hawkinson, who's going to be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks, and you're looking at 4% for Bateman. So McConkey looked okay, but again, he's coming in number 9. Okay, next. Number 8. Bye week. Okay, actually up a spot. Again, I am not concerned about Mark Andrews. I know that there may be some rumblings that, we should be concerned about him because of this, that, and whatever, and Isaiah Likely. Look, that offense is going to run through Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Zay Flowers. Okay? And then, of course, Derrick Henry running the ball out of the backfield and Justice Hill out of the backfield. But what we're going to need, this is a work in production, okay? The timer, I'll get better at it. The good part is he has J.K. Dobbins. Oh yeah, I was talking about Mark Andrews. Yes, he ran more routes than Isaiah Likely. I believe he ended up being top 5 this past week in that in routes run by tight ends. Okay. CeeDee Lamb had a good first quarter, but bro, Singletary, that is useless. Absolute uselessness. You got to put J.K. Dobbins in. But then what are you going to do after that? Zamir White, I told you, man. I said it last week.
They are who we thought they were.
You're not going to rely on Zamir White. He's just not good. Okay? He's just not good. Mike Williams, man, you want the third receiver in an anemic offense? By all means, man, keep him right there. He can stay right on that roster. You can keep everyone else on the waiver wire for us to enjoy. But number 8, bye week. Number 7. No pack, no. Go pack, go. Okay? Now, you're probably thinking, whoa. This guy, he had you got Dirty Bird and Go Pack Go. 2 guys who scored 140 points plus sitting in the bottom half of this league. Yes, I do. And let me just explain why. Okay. So, first and foremost, when it comes to Go Pack Go, you're losing Jordan Love, which means you're starting an anemic, immobile Aaron Rodgers. Okay? I mean, he's getting a little old. And because of that, he just didn't look like he's got it anymore. That said, he's got the greatest running back tandem in the league. But then at wide receiver, I'm kind of scared of what you got going on. So let's talk a little bit about Xavier Worthy. Zay Flowers, of course, we all know the guy can't catch a ball past the 5-yard line. But Xavier Worthy played 60% of his snaps out wide. Okay, we have to remember, Hollywood Brown is coming back. They paid him. He can run an entire route tree, and he runs 80% of his routes out wide. Okay, so what does that mean? Who's the odd man out? It's not Rashee Rice. I can tell you that much. He got the targets. He plays in the slot. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, top 5 and 12 personnel. 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. They paid Noah Gray. Who's the odd man out? I think he'll be much better for the Kansas City Chiefs than he will be for your fantasy football team. Okay. Again, because of that, I don't like a lot of the depth there. And Benson, they still have to work him in. Okay, next.
Number 6.
Number 6, stat corrections. Okay. Now, stat corrections. I said it last week. What like I was concerned about Mostert. He wasn't a guy I was going after. Of course, we all expected some level of regression, but man, that backfield is a disaster. Man, this thing is just not popping up. Yes, there it is. Um, that backfield is a disaster. James Cook, oddly enough, only ran 14 routes. He caught the ball a lot last year. I expect that to change. I'm not sure what's going on there. But, like, again, Mostert, and then what? Oh, you're going to start Jalen Wright? Jalen Wright? I mean, look, both of those guys, it feels like they're playing behind Wilson. Okay? So, I don't see a lot of production there. I think they're going to end up getting hurt. The PUP, Jonathan Brooks, we'll see how he does when he ends up coming back. We're looking at Demarcus Robinson being somebody you're going to rely on. He is struggling, man. I know that Marvin Harrison, not a good week, but I expect at least him to turn it around. And Keenan Allen looked like one of Caleb's favorite targets, but he's also very old, man. What are you doing out here? This guy's a little too old, man. A little too old. Okay, a little too old out there. Too old of a roster.
Number 5.
Number 5, Slide Rid. Okay. Now, Slide Rid, man, there's a lot of good fantasy football teams out there. Okay, Slide Rid, despite being 0-2, another very good team. Aaron Jones looked like vintage Aaron Jones. We'll see how he does. We'll see if he gets hurt. Christian Kirk is still a good wide receiver. They're going to be throwing the ball over there. I expect him to produce. DJ Moore is likely going to end up easing into being more of a target for Caleb Williams, but I mean, that offense looked pretty anemic. So, because of that, I do want to kind of touch base on some things that I may be concerned about. Honestly, not much going on here. Really, it's got to be the fact that you got a lot of guys who could end up getting hurt. David Njoku, man, he got hurt. I forgot what the designation of his injury. I think it was some sort of knee, but I think that might take a while. And so you got the backup for Cleveland. Yeah, not much is going to happen there, my friend. So overall, couple. I still don't like Josh Jacobs, and I think he's gonna probably have a hard time without Jordan Love there. But the star power isn't there yet, and so because of that, I got him at number 5. But overall, a very good roster. Very good roster.
Number 4.
Number 4, cop off my hawk. Up 3 spots from the previous power rankings. One thing I kept going in on him about was the fact that he ended up really weighing on tight end. Could really hurt him. Okay, he got no production out of his tight end. He picked up Isaiah Likely. I think that really is going to help him out because look, I expect Andrews to come back, but Isaiah Likely is still going to be like somebody who ends up producing somewhat. I expect him to likely finish some routine tight end like maybe 5 to 10. Okay, now a lot of wide receivers that I'm concerned about. Okay, a lot of the same guy over and over again, right? A lot of these, guys that he's going to rely on high volume. So because of that, Garrett Wilson, we'll see how Rodgers ends up doing. He started off nice and hot, but that ended up falling apart. Pittman, man, Anthony Richardson, that guy was really inaccurate. Terry McLaurin, I'd be terrified, absolutely terrified. And then Chris Godwin looked good, so that actually kind of helps you out. So for ETN, I'd be very concerned. For ETN, I just kind of wanted to mention that. Oh, no, let's talk about Rachaad White. Oh, man. All right, quick, acapella. Rachaad White. Dude, Bucky Irving, 4th-round pick, caught 56 balls last year at Oregon. They're going to get him involved on 3rd down. And he, so it was a 22-8 route ratio between the two. But, man, he looks good. Okay. I just wanted to mention, I looked at Pro PFF, Fantasy Football. They had 5 sell high candidates. Rachaad White, Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy, Brian Robinson, and Anthony Richardson. 3 of them on your team. I'm not concerned about Anthony Richardson, but B-Rob, man, that guy did not run many routes. Okay? Not many at all. Oh, do I have it written down here? 9 routes. 9 in a game where they trailed. Okay. Next.
Number 3.
Kneecap collectors. Biting kneecaps. John Anderson. Okay, look. John Anderson has a very impressive team. Now, he came off, he's 1-1 right now. Joe Burrow, he should be concerned. But look at these receivers. Tyreek Hill, Drake London, Devontae Smith, J-Mo. Okay? Then he's got Hollywood Brown just lying in the wake there. That's a lot of production that's going to end up coming in. That said, James Conner, DeAndre Swift, Justice Hill, like these are the guys you're going to be relying on. I think you're going to end up having a liability at RB2, especially when these bye weeks come around. And I'm not a big Joe Burrow and fantasy football type of guy. Okay? I think it's, I know that there was this one year where he ran it pretty decently, but I just don't think he's going to do that anymore. He understands that he's the franchise. He cannot get hurt out there. So I would consider Burrow like one of the probably worst fantasy starting quarterbacks in the league. Okay. All righty. Kept it on time on that one. All right, number 2.
Number 2.
I had to do it. Coming off the biggest week out of any performance, out of any team. Okay. Josh Allen. Okay. So, ayahuasca chemist. Josh Allen. 30-something points. That's why I took Josh Allen, first quarterback off the board. Kyren Williams. Oh, remember when people were scared about Blake Corum? Shout out to the Michigan man. Yeah, I don't even think I saw him in the game. Kyren is the guy. He ran the most routes among running backs. We feel very good about Kyren Williams. Montgomery's still going to be a red zone guy. Montgomery is an absolute... Okay. Rashee Rice. Okay. And then, of course, Josh Allen. Okay. Now, Trey McBride. Trey McBride, when he was in on pass plays, he ran routes on every single pass play. They did not have him pass blocking. He ran one of the most routes. I think it was top 5 routes run by a tight end. He was second in targets. We are not concerned over here. Okay, so I got to go on to the next person. Well, clearly my weakness is going to be at the last flex spot, which we're going to be juggling. We're hoping that some of these guys, we can end up picking someone that ends up working out. But let's get to the next guy. Let's get to the final man.
Number 1.
I had to keep him there. Staying put, the Cincinnati Lights. Okay. Why? I mean, he's got the best team. Let's start off right away with Kyler. Kyler looked good. If you watch the game, Kyler looked good. Bijan's good. At RB2, he's juggling right now. He's got Tajay, Rico, Tank Bigsby. He's juggling. Chase Brown. Chase Brown's a guy who probably come on more on later this season. But otherwise, he's stacked. Okay. Chris Olave, he's a dog. Nick Collins, freaking beast. Kincaid ran a lot of routes. Kincaid's going to be just fine. T. Higgins was hurt last week. I love T. Higgins. He's actually one of my favorite players in the NFL. I love his game. And then on his bench, people don't... I mean, if you watch the Indianapolis game, A.D. Mitchell was open on like 2 touchdowns. And Richardson missed him and or didn't see him. Like wide open. He actually was number 1 in separation rate amongst all wide receivers in week 1. Okay. A.D. Mitchell. Rookie wide receiver, number 1 in separation. Okay. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You're freaking welcome. So, again, as always, if you have any questions or concerns, please write them down. Put them in a nice Word document. I'll print that out. Just take it, give it a good crumple, and throw it in the trash because I don't give a fuck. All right? Comeback season.